The world didn't change with an explosion. It changed in silence. Somewhere behind closed doors, far from cameras and headlines, a decision was made that would quietly reshape global power forever. No press conference followed, no public announcement, just signatures, and a new world order began to take form. To understand this moment, you have to go back to a time when tension filled the air and trust between nations was already fragile. The world's most powerful countries were locked in a silent struggle, competing for influence, resources, and control. Publicly, they spoke of peace and cooperation, but privately, the game was very different. Intelligence agencies were working overtime, tracking movements, decoding intentions, and anticipating betrayal. Behind every diplomatic smile was suspicion. Behind every agreement, a hidden agenda. And then, something unusual happened. A meeting was requested, urgent, discreet, and strictly confidential. No official records, no media leaks, just a handful of powerful figures gathering in secrecy. The location was carefully chosen, isolated, secure, and completely off the radar. Even those within government circles were kept in the dark. Only a few insiders knew this meeting could change everything. But what exactly was at stake? At the heart of it all was power, global dominance, economic control, and strategic advantage. Each side came with demands, but also with fears. Because walking away from this deal could mean escalation or even conflict. The room itself was quiet, but the tension was overwhelming. No one trusted anyone fully, yet everyone knew they needed each other. This was not a negotiation between equals, it was a high-stakes gamble. One wrong move, and the consequences could ripple across the entire world. The first proposals were cautious, measured, almost rehearsed, but beneath the calm tone, there was urgency. Time was running out. Outside that room, events were already unfolding, conflicts brewing, alliances shifting. The world was on the edge of something bigger. And inside, the conversation began to change. What started as negotiation slowly turned to compromise. Lines that once seemed unbreakable began to blur, but not everyone in that room was willing to give in. There were moments of silence, long pauses that felt heavier than words, moments where everything could have collapsed. Then came the turning point. An unexpected offer was placed on the table. It was bold, risky, and completely unprecedented. For a brief moment, the room stood still, because accepting it would mean rewriting the rules entirely, and rejecting it could mean losing everything. This was the moment that would define the outcome. One by one, the leaders weighed their options, not just for themselves, but for their nations, for their economies, their security, their future. And then, quietly, the first agreement was made. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a subtle nod. But that nod changed everything. Because once one side agreed, the rest began to follow. Piece by piece, the framework of the deal came together. A hidden structure designed to reshape influence across the globe. Resources would be redirected, alliances would be adjusted, and power would be redistributed, all without the world knowing. Hours passed, then more. The outside world remained unaware, but inside that room, history was being rewritten. Finally, the agreement was complete. No celebration, no applause, just signatures on documents the public would never see. The deal was done, and with it, a new balance of power was born. But here's what makes this moment truly unsettling. The world didn't notice. There were no headlines, no breaking news alerts,
Life continued as normal. People went to work, markets opened, governments made speeches, but beneath it all, everything had changed. Because this wasn't just a deal, it was a silent shift, a recalibration of global influence, one that would shape decisions, conflicts, and economies for years to come. And the effects didn't take long to appear. Subtle at first, almost invisible. Trade patterns began to shift. Certain regions gained sudden advantages, others quietly lost ground. Policies changed, but without clear explanation. Leaders made moves that seemed unexpected, but they weren't random. They were part of the agreement, a hidden script guiding global decisions, and only those involved truly understood. Even allies were left confused, because loyalty was no longer what it seemed. The deal had redrawn the lines, not on maps, but in influence, and once those lines changed, there was no going back. Years later, analysts would begin to notice patterns, strange alignments, unexpected partnerships, decisions that didn't quite make sense unless you knew, unless you understood what happened in that room. But by then, it was too late. The deal had already taken effect. It had already reshaped the world, and undoing it was no longer an option. What makes this story even more powerful is how little evidence exists. No official confirmation, no detailed records, just fragments, whispers, and consequences. Because the most powerful decisions are often the ones made in silence, and the most influential agreements are the ones the public never sees. So the next time something in global politics doesn't quite add up, when alliances shift unexpectedly, or decisions seem strangely aligned, remember this: somewhere, at some point, a deal was made, a secret deal, one that quietly rewrote world power. And the truth is, we may never fully know what was agreed in that room, but we are still living with its consequences today.